This is the Astros Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Houston Astros, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Astros get what they need on a Wednesday, a series victory over the Boston Red Sox. Only thing you can ask to do is go out there and win those games and then hope that you get some help in the American League West. But the first thing is first, that they take care of their business tonight. They get a big swing of the bat early. They get a big swing of the bat late. They do just enough. The pitching does its job, as well as they pull off the 4-1 victory over the Boston Red Sox tonight. Hello and welcome to the Locked On Astros Postcast. I am your host, Michael Connor. Thank you for stopping by and watching if you are live. If you're watching us later on, we appreciate that as well. We're always live after the games, a little bit later than normal after the game ends tonight. Sorry about that, but we are here now getting going. We got a lot of things to get into. This episode tonight is going to feature, well, like I mentioned, some talk on the bats getting big when they need to get big. Of course, pitching doing its job as well. And we'll take a look at the Baltimore Orioles series coming up this weekend at the ballpark that is in downtown Houston, Texas. Today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. All right, so as we're doing this show live, I will tell you, if you've watched this show before, you know that I have a thing for having multiple screens in front of my face. I have the Mariners and the Orioles game up because the Orioles are about to blow the lead that they had on the Mariners in the ninth inning. They've got a runner on third. They're down 3-2 now with one out in the inning. They're going back to their bullpen as Baltimore. So maybe, just maybe, Baltimore was going to help the Astros. Doesn't look like it's guaranteed at this point. Again, for those of you watching later on, listening later on, hopefully the outcome was better than what I'm giving you right now. The only outcome that matters, though, from the Astros standpoint, because it is as cliche as it gets. The only outcome that the Astros can control is their own outcome by going out there and winning baseball games like they did today. Obviously, when you start off with a bang from Jeremy Pena, a home run there, you get another one there in the first inning. That's a good start. You love to see that out of the Astros tonight. Of course, Yainer Diaz drives in the second one there for the Astros in the first inning as he singled on that line drive to left to make it 2-0. And it kind of felt like that was going to be one of those moments where, and as I am speaking to you, the Mariners are about to tie the game on a sacrifice fly to center field. Oh, God, I hate the Baltimore Orioles. The game is tied 3-3, so that one's going to extras. I swear, if the Baltimore Orioles come to town this weekend and play great baseball, I'm gonna punch something. I'm gonna just say that right now. What a bad baseball team that they are for a team that, well, was supposed to be good this season. But the Astros can only control what they can control, and the starting it off felt like it was going to be one of those nights where you go, bang, here you go, firing on all cylinders. That'd be great. Okay. It settled down. Walker Buehler settled down in the baseball game. Starters do tend to do that. You know, they come out, they get beat up a little bit early, and then they settle. And he settled. And the Astros starter, Hunter Brown, settled as well. It was a little bit of a struggle for him tonight, though, overall, I will say. I mean, ball-to-strike ratio was not unbelievable. It got better. It got a little better at the end, made it look better. But at one point, I think he was like 48 strikes, 40 balls. And he's at 88 pitches, and that just caught me. I was like, wow. He ended up 93-53 tonight. So 40 balls, a lot of balls thrown. He did walk 3 in the game, and that was a credit to him to be able to get that deep. But Buehler settled, and then it came down to getting a big swing. The Astros had some opportunities, clearly. Buehler walked 4 on his own, and they had to get out and do something about it eventually. And they did. You know, Yainer Diaz had himself a game. And we've talked a lot about Yainer Diaz this season. I like the overall season was or has been disappointing for, I think, what you expect out of Yainer Diaz on a consistent basis. You know, you were thinking that it was going to be a 20 home run season, basically, hit around 300, and he's hit 254. He's got 17 home runs, 53 runs batted in, and his OPS is only 705. You're hoping for a bigger number than that. But I will give him this. As the season has moved along, he's gotten better. In the month of August now, hitting 273 with a couple of home runs through 11 games. Last month, in the month of July, he hit 286 with 5 home runs. June wasn't horrible at 256 and 3. And May was good at 283. It was April and the beginning of March. 091 in the 3 games in March, and then 198 in the 22 games in April. That really, that puts your season off to a rough start. So he's hit well since then, and I swear my dogs just love to bark when I'm doing a show. I don't get it. Sorry if you hear it. But the Astros have needed his bat to get right. They need his bat to be a force. As they get their lineup back to being longer and lengthened and more dangerous, they're going to have less pressure on him maybe to be a consistent force. Not even consistent force, but to be one of the most important bats, I guess is what I should say. But they need him. There is no denying the fact that the Astros absolutely need Yainer Diaz to be great at some point. Until they get Jordan back, we've talked about deficiencies in other spots this year. They need Yainer to show up, and tonight he did. Big night. 3 runs batted in, of course, the big 2-run home run to bust it open there to 4-1, give you the cushion, and then you hand it off to the bullpen. Credit to Bennett Sousa. He is going to pitch a lot now in leverage situations, higher leverage situations than he has before. He's got sneaky stuff. He's got this slider that really, it's not your typical slider. It's a slider that kind of dives down toward the dirt more than it sweeps across. And it's a pretty filthy pitch for him. And then he sneakily has mid-90s in there. You don't look at him and go, God, this guy's got mid-90s. He's had a really good year this year. And he's going to have to step up now and continue to pitch well because the Astros need him. If you did kind of miss the Josh Hader stuff, I'm going to be honest, I don't think that you're going to see, just based on my opinion. I'm no doctor, but when I hear that a pitcher is going for a second opinion on a shoulder, what my first thought is? He's probably not pitching again this season. It's the middle of August. I'm worried that we're going to hear the word surgery at some point if you're going for a second opinion. It doesn't sound to me like that's just a shoulder strain. And I haven't seen if there's any new updates on that since I have not pulled up Twitter at all, since I've sat down at the computer to start the show, or X as they're calling it these days. I'm looking to see if there was anything there. No, there's nothing there. Brian Abreu, of course, does get the save tonight for the Astros. Joe Espada wouldn't commit to that yesterday. Brian Abreu is capable of closing games out. We know that. He's got 100 miles an hour. We saw 100, 101 tonight. He was pumping it, absolutely pumping it. The issue and the reason why you don't want to pinhole him, and that's why he's always going to be an 8th inning guy for the Astros as long as they can keep it that way, is that he has got the kind of stuff to get righties out at a very high clip with strikeouts. And if you pin him down just the 9th inning, it doesn't guarantee you anything. So that's like that you're going to – and also he's the guy that you throw into the highest leverage situations. If they need him to come in the 7th, they put him in the 7th. So the bullpen's getting shortened now, and that's an issue. It's absolutely an issue for this baseball team. Can they survive without without Josh Hader? Absolutely, they can. They have enough guys, and Brian Abreu is good enough to be a closer. The other thing with Abreu is that he's always has been susceptible to busy innings, runners on the base paths, walking guys, giving up hits, traffic in general. And when you have traffic issues consistently, it just opens up the opportunity for the other team to do it. Now, that's one thing that Josh Hader has done a really good job of this year, is not having a lot of traffic all the time. That's what made him return to the elite level that he pitched at his entire career in Milwaukee, and then briefly for one of his seasons. He was a 1.5-year guy in San Diego, but for one of those seasons in San Diego, he was that guy as well. I think it's something it's worth monitoring. I'm not saying I'm uncomfortable by one bit. I think the end of games might be a little bit more uncomfortable with him at times than it is with Josh Hader for us, the fans. But finishes the job tonight despite getting the traffic on. The Astros get the victory. That's all that matters. Let's take a look at what is ahead for the Astros over the next few days after they get the day off tomorrow, and we'll do that next here on the Locked On Astros Postcast. First up, before we get to that conversation, I want to remind you guys, if you're running a business, you know that every missed call is money left on the table. Think about the last time you had a service emergency, like a pipe burst. If the first plumber didn't answer, did you wait? No, you kept making the phone call. That's why having a reliable business phone is so important. That's why you need Open Phone. Open Phone is the #1 business phone system that helps you streamline and scale customer communication all from an app on your phone or a computer. Your whole team can share the same one phone number and respond to customers like a shared inbox. There's no more, who's handling this, who's handling that. It's a very cool feature. Open Phone is offering Locked On Astros Postcast listeners 20% off your first 6 months at openphone.com/LockedOnMLB. That's openphone.com/LockedOnMLB. And if you have an existing phone number with another service, Open Phone will port them over, no extra charge. Open Phone, no missed calls, no missed customers. And one more reminder before we get back to our Astros discussion, I want to tell you guys about the Gametime app. Do you love Gametime? Who doesn't love Gametime? We've all been there, logging on early and waiting forever for concert tickets to go on sale, only to lose your spot for a show that you've been dying to see. Live music should be about making memories, not dealing with the stress of ticket shopping. That's where Gametime comes in. And by the way, as I'm doing this, the Baltimore Orioles are about to walk off the Seattle Mariners. It happened. There we go. Astros get the lead back in the division. But let me tell you more about Gametime. Gametime makes getting tickets for concerts faster and easier than ever. Prices actually drop as it gets closer to showtime, so you can save up to 60% off their last-minute killer last-minute deals every single time. Awesome feature of the app, of course, the panoramic seat view. You should be checking out the seats that you're going to sit in. Why wouldn't you? So you can do that in the app, the Gametime app right there. Take the guesswork out of buying concert and show tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, so good news in the middle of that. The Baltimore Orioles walk off the Seattle Mariners, and it was Jackson Holliday that did it for Baltimore with an RBI double to win the baseball game. The Astros division lead is back at 1, baby. Let's go. So all those bad things I said about the Mariners a few minutes ago, the Orioles, I'm gonna still keep them, but you know what? Let's hope that the Orioles come to Houston this weekend and play very bad baseball, because they are the next opponent for the Astros over the next few days. Hopefully that Jackson Holliday, who just had the walk-off hit for Baltimore, and that one does not show up and does not win the baseball game, any baseball games for them when they are down here in Houston. The good news is, of course, he can't walk off games when they are the road team in this one. So big weekend. The Astros have the day off tomorrow. Seattle does play Baltimore again tomorrow. So go Orioles, go. Hopefully the Astros will have a 1.5 game lead in the American League West as they open play Friday when Baltimore comes to town. Of course, when that game ends Friday night, we'll be live with you here for the Locked On Astros Postcast. Thank you. Or actually, you know what? Real quick, we got to give out.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Easy money tonight. Yainer Diaz hitting a 2-run jack to bust things open. And the Astros get the victory tonight over the Boston Red Sox. And again, the series victory. It's always important to win series. Look, they went on the road, got swept by the Red Sox over there in Boston. But since then, they've won 3 consecutive series. So if you do math, that is a record of 6-3 since being swept in those baseball games. That's pretty darn good overall. I'll take it. Keep doing that. You're going to win at a very high clip overall in a regular season. All right. again, Thursday night. Don't forget to join me as soon as the game ends for the Locked On Astros Postcast. You guys have a great rest of your Wednesday night. We'll talk.